Today's lesson is over learning target 3, which states that I can graph a linear inequality in slope, intercept, and standard form. So here, we're going to be graphing, kind of like what we do with linear equations, but there are a few things that we have to take note of that are different because they are inequalities. So first, when you have no equal sign, you'll have one of your inequalities instead. So it'll either be a less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or a greater than or equal to sign. Now, because you have these inequalities, your line changes a little bit. If you have a less than or greater than sign, it'll be dashed or dotted line. But if it's a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to line, it's a solid line. Now, because we're talking about inequalities, we want to include all solutions that are possible, so we will need to shade. So shading is going to look a little different. So what we need to do is test a point to see where we shade. So we'll always pick 0, 0 if we can, because that's the easiest one to plug in. So if you plug in 0, 0 and it's a true statement, that means we include the 0, 0 in the shading, meaning we shade on the same side as 0, 0. If it's false, we don't include 0, 0 in our shading, so we'll shade on the opposite side of the line where 0, 0 is not. So let's go ahead and try one. So number one, you have this inequality in slope-intercept form. Notice that it's a y, and then usually would be equals, but mx plus b form. Okay, so your m is your slope, b is your y-intercept, remember. So here, -8 is in the b position, so that means it's a y-intercept. So 0, -8 is that point. And slope is the number multiplied to the x, which is 2, but that would be 2 over 1. Okay, and then from there, we also want to identify what kind of line we're going to graph. Since it's a less than sign, it would be dashed line. So let's go ahead and graph. So 0, -8, we will plot that, and then use the slope of 2 over 1. So 2 up, and then to the right 1, and use that pattern to get the rest of our points. Then once we have our points graphed, we'll insert that dashed line in, and then here we will need to test the point 0, 0. So plugging in 0, 0 into your x and to your y allows us to see which side we need to shade where all the other solutions that are true reside. So here we find that 0 is less than -8 when I simplify that inequality. That would be a false statement. So then that means I'm going to shade on the opposite side, or the side that doesn't include 0, 0. Okay. Number 2 is in standard form. So here, remember, for standard form, we are looking for our x and y intercepts. So to do that, we need to plug in 0 for y to find our y-intercept. Now here I'll be using equals instead of the inequality. That will just make it easier to understand when we find our ordered pair. So that gets me 3, so our x-intercept would be 3, 0. We'll do the same for the y-intercept, except we'll plug in 0 for x to find the y. That'll get me y equals -2, so our ordered pair would be 0, -2. And then from there, I can graph both those points. Because it's less than or equal to, once I do that, it'll be a solid line for this one. And then just like we did on the last one, we're going to test the point 0, 0 to see which side we get to shade. So because it's standard form, the zeros are going to be on the same side. And so then that just really means that the left side will be 0. And that is a true statement. 0 is less than or equal to 6, so I shade the same side that 0, 0 is on. Number 3 is in slope-intercept form. So for this one, your y-intercept would be 0, 7. And then your slope is -1/3. Remember that the negative doesn't go to both 1 and 3. You need to pick. So you can either say it goes down 1 to the right 3, or up 1 to the left 3. The greater than or equal to sign means we'll have a solid line when we graph it. So I plot the point 0, 7. I can go down 1 to the right 3 repeatedly, or up 1 to the left 3 repeatedly to get my my line. And then I make my solid line. Then from there, I'll test the point 0, 0 again. And for that, it says that 0 is greater than or equal to 7, which is false. It is not greater than 7. So then I shade the side that is not 0, 0. The last one here is in standard form. So I need to find my x and y intercepts. So I plug in 0 for y to find my x, which gives me 2. So my ordered pair would be 2, 0. And then I'll plug in 0 for x to find y. That gets me -4. So my ordered pair is 0, -4. So I graph both those points. Since it's greater than, that means it'll be a dashed line. And then plugging in 0, 0, since it's standard form, the 0 will be on the left. 0 is greater than -8. So that is a true statement, so I'll shade everything on the left side, or the side that includes 0, 0. Bon voyage!